What's happening, everyone? Happy Friday. Happy weekend out there. Memorial Day weekend in the US as well, I think, right? Yeah, I think so. Hope everyone out there is doing good. This is Bullish Crypto Stream. Set the stream up, I think 3 days ago, something like that. And I was, I started feeling really bullish. I think, was it Monday or Tuesday? I want to say, and I was like, man, all the regulation stuff, all the ETF stuff, it just started popping off. Just the ecosystem at large. I mean, just crypto in general feels a little bit differently right now. Trump started talking about crypto. Funny enough, that might have speculation that could have kicked a lot of stuff off too. Very, very interesting. Presidential race coming up. They're all vying for votes and otherwise too. Capital markets. Yeah. Maybe we'll get into some of that too. But anyways, Bullish Crypto Stream. Put your most bullish sentiments into the chat. We can talk about it. Put your moon math in there. Put your whatever it is. Maybe we'll get to some of them if we get. Put your bearish sentiment in there too. We want to maybe address some of those. Could be valid too. Anyways, again, in just a minute, let me bring our guest in today. It is Hexy Bastard. How's it going?
What's up, bro? How we doing, guys?
Welcome back to the show. I think it's your third time, I want to say. Fourth time.
It might be the fourth, yeah.
Fourth, because we did the PP, we did Poor Pleb stream, the first. And then 9-inch was launching. It almost launched, I think, that day. Something like that. And then
the day before. Yeah, something.
It was a very exciting day. I remember there's a lot of people very excited. And then we did Me, You, and Charlie. And we're supposed to do Me, You, and Charlie today. However, Charlie couldn't make it. So I was like, all right, I'll take
Charlie, wherefore art thou, Charlie? I miss you, brother.
He better be doing something good. Better be good. It's all right. I'm sure he'll come back on too. Always good to get
Vegas, mate. There's always going to be something good to do out there. I fucking loved Vegas. It was awesome. So
dude, that was a good time.
If I lived there, I wouldn't live very long.
Yeah, it's always one of those places where it's like I like to visit for about 2 days. I'm good for like 2 full days, and then I gotta go travel. I gotta go to the mountains. I gotta go to Utah, or gotta go just somewhere in the desert. But it's a great place. It's a great like landing spot. LA is close by, like, all that stuff too. But times,
yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Like, actually wanted to go to LA while we were out there. We were going to do a little segue and just go there for a day or two, but we just didn't end up doing it. But there was so much to do in Vegas. Now, obviously, for me, it takes like fucking 16 hours to get to Vegas. So 2 days isn't really an option. You got to go for like a week or something.
That's right. Yeah. The domestic flight part of me is like, just a couple days is good turnaround, see some people, hang out, and then get back home before you get tired of it. But if you're traveling across the world, maybe 4 days. Hexy B, 4 days.
Yeah, maybe. I think I shaved a few months off my life during that little period. So wow. But it was a lot of fun. It was great meeting guys like you and Miguel and Charlie and SJ and Coffee. And to be fair, I've met Coffee once before in a bathroom. Like that was kind of funny. We just bumped into each other in a bathroom. Like, hey, you're Coffee. He was like, hey, you're the bastard. Good to meet you. And I was like, all right, see you later. Bye. And that was it. I
didn't see that part in the low stakes. I didn't see that take. An outtake. That'd been good.
No, but did you see the Crypto Coffee outtake at the end though of the film? Like during the credits, there was like a little Easter egg at the very end of the film.
Man, did I not go? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't go all the way in the credits. I did watch the entire thing, but I don't remember the last part. What was it about?
I think the funniest parts are in the credits. Like some of the outtakes and stuff are really, really funny. So
I did watch some of that.
There is as well in that film. I've not actually fully tweeted exactly what it is, but there is an Easter egg in the film where there's a seed phrase for a wallet, which currently has like $1,000 worth of PP in it. But I'm going to continue to add money until someone finds it. I've had people sending me spreadsheets and all sorts of stuff. It's very hard to find it. You'd have to watch the film quite a few times to like really see it. I mean, some of them are quite obvious. There's one clue that I put out, like in one of the scenes, I'm sat exactly here, and that little dick over there has the word used in it, and that's one of the seed phrases. And then the other clue is that when I'm creating the wallet, there's a scene where I'm like creating the sack wallet. You can see, I think, the first 6 words. So they are in the order, the first 6 words. And then as they appear during the film, that's the order that they all go in. So it is possible. Like I say, I'm actually going to top that up with like another $1,000 of PP probably later tonight. So it would be cool, like, if someone managed to get a hold of that. And I think I have, like I say, we did this because we knew we'd get this like burst of views. So like I think right now it's on like 8,000 views or maybe just a little less. But then we thought we'll stick that in because then it gives it the second flurry of views, and then hopefully that pumps the algorithm even harder so we can get out to more people. But I'm pretty happy with everything that went down. I had like overwhelmingly positive response from that film. It did take us like 9 months to do it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's just full credit to the guys that made it, because it was their job was increasingly difficult by trying to get me out of bed every morning to do it. So they really managed to get me working. So yeah, it was fun.
It was pretty good. I remember that, the story, you follow the story from it. It's got, you guys are working out. It's got the, Money Gang there too. You're doing the seed phrase thing, and Papa Boner's like, no, not the right, all that stuff. That was pretty funny.
I didn't even know they were doing that. That was so I did the seed phrase scene, like recorded it and everything. And then when they showed me kind of like the draft of how the film was going to look, that's when I seen the Papa Boner bit for the first time, and I was just dying with laughter because he does the part so well. Like, and obviously we all know him as like the security guy and whatever, and he just does it so well. So yeah, shout out to him. I mean, shout out to everyone who had any kind of a part in that film. There was a lot of clips that people sent through of just people saying bastard and stuff, but we couldn't use them all because some of them were like low quality, the backgrounds looked weird or whatever. And we recorded loads in Vegas as well, but the sound quality was just like awful, so we couldn't do it, sadly. But yeah, it was fun, and we got a lot more outtakes to put out in the future as well. And we're actually talking about potentially doing a second film also, if we can rally this up. And we're actually submitting this for some film awards. Can you believe it? Like, we're gonna be on the short list for like Edinburgh Film Festival and like Cannes and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
Believe it. I mean, I imagine if I would go to a film festival, I would see films that are like this film. I mean, this is just like a very specific kind of crypto, funny, like parody type of thing, but it's got its own story and stuff too. So no, I can totally see. Why not? Like, what it seemed like. I don't think it'd be out of place or anything. It'd be pretty funny. And if you actually won something, it'd be like kind of,
that'd be fucking amazing. We recorded that entire film with iPhone 11s, refurbished iPhone 11s, and just like gimbals and microphones and stuff like that. But we wanted it to look as like plebby as possible. That was kind of like the aim of it. But it actually turned out like quite high production value in a lot of places, because of the editors that we had, putting it all together. One of the guys, hexacologist, he used to work for, I don't want to dox him too hard, but he used to do editing for the BBC and stuff like that. So he's really, really good at this stuff. And he goes through everything with like a fine tooth comb and makes sure that everything's as lined up and perfect as possible. But say the things that killed me was the Sid and Doris scene, which was where they're talking about putting the caravan money in and stuff. Oh, mate, like I every time I watch that scene, I laugh, and I must have seen it like 100 times now, and it still makes me laugh to this day. We did the premiere as well the day before we brought it out, or 2 days before we brought it out. We did a premiere in my hometown, Nottingham, and we rented a little cinema out, and a bunch of people came. We just kind of invite only did, like just people that we knew that were in the relatively nearby, or anyone that was in the film that was from the UK, and then they brought friends, family and stuff like that. I think we had like 55, 60 people in that. We completely filled it, like this room that we had. And the response, like hearing people laughing at it, and we got like claps and stuff at the end and all this stuff. It was just amazing, man. Like, it all really culminated into this into just this masterpiece. Honestly, it's like, I think it's a masterpiece because it's so plebby and it's done in such a way, and it tells a really good story. Obviously, I think it's funny, and I think I'm surprised more people haven't like clipped certain scenes out of it and stuff, just to like, I've had a lot of people trolling me lately. It's like, man, if they go to that film and they want to troll me, they can really troll me, like, because there's so many embarrassing scenes in there for me, man.
It's got some funny scenes. The trailer park one, is that what you guys were in? I don't know what you call it in the UK. In here, I'd be like,
it's a caravan park.
Okay.
The reason that that's significant is because in the UK, like, people who don't really have that much money, what they'll do is they'll go to a caravan for like, they'll go to the seaside, like somewhere with like a beach or something like that. And they'll just rent a caravan out, and they're usually really shit. And we found one, and it was perfect because it was like, looked like it had been decorated in the 80s, and it was just perfect. So it worked really, really well for us. And that's
So
like the kind of
out.
Yeah, we just rented it out for like a few days. We didn't even stay in it. Like we stayed in a hotel down the road. Like,
didn't even stay. Well, so do people just rent them out, or like, for example, like in America, people like can live in them, you know, for most of their life or half their life, or until they're, as you know, if you're really, really poor, you know, trailer park, maybe like if you're traveling, if you're like older, maybe you like go to an RV park or something. But the people is this like just for people to rent, and like when they're just don't have a lot of money, or do people like live in them for a long period of time?
some people live in them. Yeah, I think a lot of them are lived in for sure, because they're fairly cheap, right? You can get one of them for, I don't know, 20 grand, 30 grand, something like that. And it is, yeah, you can totally live in it. There's a park not far from where we were staying there that is like where people just live, but then they have like mixtures of like holiday rentals and people just live there as well. It is kind of cool, actually, to be honest. Like some of these, because they can make them look really, really cool, and they've got like hot tubs. We have a thing called a static caravan as well, which is basically like a trailer that doesn't have wheels. So it's just like a little, I can't really describe it, but they'll have like a decking all the way around it, like a porch or something, and they build in hot tubs, and I don't know, man, it's pretty sick, actually. It's a nice cheap way to live if you want to avoid paying for a mortgage or any of that. It's quite a good way to do it, I suppose.
It is so the one you're all in, is that a caravan, or is that just like a permanent fixture caravan? Because that had a porch.
Yeah, so that one was a static one, but they do have wheels on them, but you have to like, you can't really move them easily. You can't just attach it to a car and drive off with it, kind of thing.
I'm correlating this to like American. This is like a mobile home, because you have a trailer which I think has wheels or doesn't have wheels, but there's a mobile home where you can actually pick it up. I think. Okay, and then you have a mobile home which is usually bigger. Like you can see people hauling it on the highway in two pieces. Like you can in the middle it separates, and you can actually take it places too. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, these ones usually go on the back of like a lorry or something to get moved around. So it's not particularly easy to move them, I don't think. But you can move it from place to place if you want to. I just think it's kind
trailer
of funny.
Park versus caravan park is like the analogy or the similar thing. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, pretty similar. Like they're all. I mean, you can see there's just like rows and rows of them. There's like hundreds of them in this place, and just over a little hill you've got the beach, but a British beach is not particularly like that good, because
that sounds really good, actually. You're talking about hot tubs and beaches, and like, what's wrong with this?
Yeah, but mate, like the water over here is just unbelievably cold. It's like going into an ice bath. It's just unbelievable, like, because it's I mean this was on like the east side of England, so it's not even that far till you get to like Europe. Okay, so you could probably, I mean, people swim it and stuff like that, so it's like totally doable. It's maybe like half an hour on a ferry or something like that. But the water is just unbelievably cold, man. So you can't swim, right? And then most of the beaches as well, like Skegness was the main location where we did this. Skegness Beach is terrible because it's like full of it's like a kind of, it's sandy, but it's like rocky as well. So it's not like you can't like just play in the sand. You go to any European beach, it'd be 100 times better than these, but people still go there. They go there for the culture, because they have like all the like amusement arcades and stuff like that, and like you can get ice cream, whatever. It's just like it's a very typical British like holiday, and I did it loads of times when I was a kid, and I loved it every single time. So it is always fun going and doing it, but it is a bit shit compared to like anything else, really. Like
yeah, it's not like you're gonna. Yeah, and I mean, this side of the Western U.S. too. Unless you go to California, there's not a lot of great beaches that are for swimming. They're just for like, if it gets really hot and stuff, you can. But it's more just like recreation, hang out, seafood. Yeah. Seafood becomes really popular. Like you go there for good food, like fresh fish and all that. Wow.
Oh, we definitely have like so the British seaside is like renowned for having like really good fish and chips. So if it's very,
I like fish and chips.
Again, very very British thing, like fish and chips and stuff. But if you have fish and chips at the seaside, it is banging. So I stand with Florida.
I don't know where it came from. I think, did we mention trailer parks, or is it this is beaches? I'm not. I think they have both of those. Along with
there's a good comment there from Hex TC saying, for those that are unsure about caravans, watch the movie Snatch. So there's a thing with caravans as well in the UK. So we have this culture of people called pikeys, and they're basically gypsies, right? They're basically gypsies, and what they
I
do
don't
is
even know what it
they have
means,
this
but
like
it
fleet.
just sounded funny.
Yeah, we call them pikeys. Like they have like a fleet of caravans, but they're actually a bit of a like nuisance when it comes to the UK, because what they'll do is they'll bring like, I don't know, there'll be a fleet of like 100 guys with like caravans and stuff. What they do is they come into like a random field, like a farmer's field or something like that, or like a public park or whatever, and they'll just park up. And then in order to get rid of them, the police have to go through like 100 loop, you know, they just got to jump through 100 hoops to like actually get rid of them. And yeah, what they'll do is they'll leave, and then they'll just go find somewhere else like round the corner and just do it there as well. And it's not so much that they're doing that, they wreck the land that they're on for a start. They leave loads of rubbish behind, things like that. But then what they do is they bring loads of crime to the area. So they're like well known that a lot of them go like thieving, like robbing in shops, and I don't know, like I've seen loads of videos about it before, but yeah, they've got this weird little subculture, and I certainly don't want to piss them off, so I'm not going to say anything too bad, but they definitely like go around robbing and you know, causing trouble, and it's almost impossible to like get these guys. So even if you've got them on CCTV committing a crime, because they don't really have the same, you know, they don't really register their birth certificates, all of them, and they don't really have passports, and it's really hard to like identify people 100%. So they would largely just get away with it, and they'll just hide them as well. They'll just hide them in a random caravan, and then the police don't really like going into the caravan park because it's dangerous for them and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's just kind of a weird fucking, it's a weird world. It's a really weird world.
If you switch caravans for tents, I think you just described homeless in the US.
Yeah.
Instead of caravans, they just have tents. Yeah.
They kind of are. We had this yeah, they basically are homeless technically. You know, they don't have a fixed address. They just have a caravan. They go around and yeah, they just live where they want to live. Like someone will scout a field with a gate open. They'll just be like, right, boom, and just start moving people in. And then the owner of that land, they'll like terrorize them, you know, and it's kind of sad really, but yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, so sucks. I mean, it almost sounded like I was thinking of like a festival. It's almost like a festival, but with caravans and stuff, which is not, yeah. not doesn't bring an unpleasant. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. That could be better. That could be better. I agree with you. Yeah.
So do you guys get like traveling fairs and stuff in the US? So like a random fair will just pop up, like you know, with like rides.
Sometimes, yeah, shit
like that.
Yeah, they have like it's called traveling carnival.
Yes. Similarly to that, we have like fun fairs or whatever over in the UK, and it's like, I don't know, for like 4 days or something, they'll bring one to an area for a bit, and you know, overpriced shit food, just like not entirely safe either. I can't imagine that the guys that are setting these up really know what they're doing or have that much care or attention to what they're doing. So I'm always a little bit iffy with them. But it's the same culture. It's like the gypsy people that do this, and they you know, they'll buy a ride and then they'll just rent out a plot, and it's all cash. Like there's no taxes being paid or anything like that. It's all cash, money in the bank kind of thing. And yeah, it's always those guys that are doing it. That's why I don't trust these rides too much when they do appear, because I can't imagine that they're really putting that much effort or attention into making sure that it's totally safe, because they don't really give a shit. I mean, they obviously they do a little bit, but like, I'm not saying they're like horrendous people or anything, but yeah, it's a bit weird. So it's a weird group of people, man.
It's almost like I have these visions of like biker gangs in my mind now, and then like homeless but with caravans, and this. I've been to the UK for like maybe one day. I think I had a layover in London a long time ago. Yeah. So I've not experienced much in the UK yet, but you're painting a very visual picture of a very pleasant and unhostile place. Definitely no knife problems.
Yeah, you definitely don't get stabbed over here, mate. No, never happens.
It's the weirdest. Like, who was I telling the other day? I'm like, I keep hearing about the knife problems in Europe and UK and stuff like that. I'm like, that's almost more scary to me than, you know, we have guns and stuff here, that problems and all that stuff too. But it's like getting stabbed is like, I don't know. At this point, it's like getting gun related stuff is like so common, where like when I think of someone actually like stabbing me, or like somebody getting stabbed, that's like way more scary. That's like way more barbaric.
It's more personal.
It's like,
it's
wow,
very
you went out of your way to do that. Like that's
yeah, it's fucked up, man. Like a friend of mine got stabbed when I was how old was I? I think I was 17. Yeah, I was at like a house party. You know, it was New Year's Eve, actually. I remember specifically, it was New Year's Eve. Was at a house party, and a group of people were like, "Oh, we're just going to go to like this food place 5 minutes down the road," and they asked me if I wanted to go, and I happened to be on the phone to a girl at the time that I like had a crush on, right? So I was like, "Oh no, I won't come, but can you grab me this food? Here's the money, whatever." And they all left, but literally I was just about to go, and then about 5 or 10 minutes later they came back, and my friend had been stabbed twice. He got stabbed in the chest, just like an inch below his heart, literally. Like that's if it was an inch higher, he'd be dead. And then he got stabbed in the arm, but it was actually the arm one that gave him the most trouble, because it like the bleeding in it was like really, really bad. He nearly died. It's kind of crazy, and this just happened like 5 minutes from where we all were. The reason it happened is because someone tried to steal his phone and he didn't want to give it him. And it's kind of like, come on, man. Like, you got these two, there was like two guys, they already had knives on them, right? It's just like, just give him your fucking phone, man. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
screw the phone at that point.
Yeah, fuck the phone, man. Like, just give it to them. Like, it's fine. It was a shit phone anyway. It's just like, it's not worth dying over, right? So, yeah, because he didn't want to give him the phone, they like punched him. He still didn't want to give him the phone, so they punched him again, and then he punched them back, and then that's when they just jumped him and he got stabbed twice. So yeah, it was super close to dying, man. It was pretty fucked up. It was real terrifying, man. Real terrifying seeing that. But I mean, it does. There is a reputation for that in the UK. I don't think it's as prominent as people think, but there certainly is. Like, London is not a very, in London, you just got to be careful, because you don't want to be walking around with like a nice watch on. You don't want to bring too much attention to yourself. If you're in London, come visit. There's loads of great stuff to do here, but don't like walk around too much. Just get taxis everywhere, or just do things like that, and you'll be fine. Like, know where you're going, and because we're doing a PulseChain tour event in London in July, and this is all I'm telling people is just like, know where you're going and know where the after party venue or whatever is, and just get taxis to and from all of these places, and you'll be totally fine. Like, you're not going to get trouble inside venues and stuff usually, but just be careful. That's all. It's not like the fucking favela in Brazil or anything like that, but it does happen. So
I've seen it. I've never walked around the favela, but I've seen it from the hills. I'll never forget that. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting place.
That's the place I'm a little bit unsure about ever visiting, to be honest. Yeah, I'd stand out like a fucking sore thumb out there, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been years and years, but I don't think there's some places I've visited before that I'm not. I don't need to go back there. That's maybe at some point, but they got interesting stuff.
A friend of mine really wants to go to Colombia, because he's well, we kind of both do. Got a little bit of a thing for like Colombian Latina looking women, and I was like, yeah, I mean, bro, we can go, but like, can we just stick to like the main bit? Like, I don't want to leave any built up area. I just want to be in like the main bit, like, because that's the kind of place, man. They'll just fucking. You seen the meme of this is kind of a grim one, but there's a meme where have you seen the CGI video about doing like a face transplant, where they kind of like cut you from here and then they peel the face down, and the meme was when you owe 1 pesos to the cartel, and they're just like ripping his fucking face. Oh, bro, it's so bad. But yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of sad, because that shit, like, they are fucking violent out there, man. Like, they are violent as fuck, like those guys. So yeah, you gotta be fucking careful, man. Let's
turn it back to London for a minute. We got some new data. We got 2 pieces of information. One, I'm from London, never had any issues. That's what Archie says. What are you doing in London, Hexby? What are you doing? This sounds like a safe place now.
I've never had any trouble in London either, but I know a lot of people who have. Just ask Money Gang about this. He grew up in London. He'll attest to it. I know a few people who do live there. I mean, the thing is, it depends on the area. Like, there's certain areas that are a lot worse than others, and sometimes it's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You get crime where I live. I just heard the other day about a guy that just got randomly attacked, and some guy just sucker punched him for no reason. Didn't even say a word to him. He just ran up to a random guy and punched him, and almost knocked him clean out, because like the guy had a bruise, like his entire side of his face was just completely bruised up and fucked. So,
was he wearing a Hex t-shirt?
No, maybe a Cardano one, maybe. Yeah, I never had a problem in London, man, but I've heard a lot of stories, and I definitely wouldn't recommend wearing loads of jewelry and shit like that because you'll just be a target. So
that I know it sucks. It's like it sucks that you can't even just have nice things, like walk around without feeling like somebody's gonna try to take it from you. Speaking of the Hex t-shirts, by the way, I was at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. I wore a Hex t-shirt and everyone was really nice to me, actually. And
really,
yeah, they were like shouting me out kind of, but like in an unironic way, like not being weird. It was just like, oh, hey, like they like recognized it and didn't get tackled. No. And it was a good time. Yeah, I had a good time. I'd wear that. And that was in Miami, which but it was in like nicer part of Miami though too. Also data. I've been shot and stabbed. I'll take stabbing any day. I guess if I had to choose, I guess I was trying to, illustrate the visual of like that just seems like such a I don't know, barbaric thing to do, getting stabbed. And it's like very personal, like you said too, where getting shot and stuff in the U.S. is like I don't want to say it's casual, but it's more of like you see it a lot. So it's like not
just a casual
what's the word
shooting,
for this?
Yeah.
Well, what's the word? It's not like
crazy.
It's not understandable. What is it? I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's like, we've seen it a lot, so it's kind of like, okay, that happens sometimes. It's known, like it's there's precedent and all this stuff. Nobody wants it to happen, but it's like, somebody gets stabbed, like, oh crap, like I don't want. Like it makes me feel.
So I understand the for and against argument with the gun thing, right? So as a British guy, like it took me a while to really understand. I just can't understand why like people in the public can go and buy a gun at a supermarket. Like why? But then on the other hand, it probably does make the place a lot safer because you're not going to fuck with people. Like you wouldn't even go fuck with an old woman because she might be packing heat and she could just shoot you. So less people, I suppose, less crime. It might encourage crime in some ways and then reduce crime in other ways. And it means you can defend yourself more. Like, man, if guns were legal here, I'd have all of them. Like I'd be packing like hell. Like no one would ever rob me. No chance. So yeah.
It's an age old thing in the US, but it's I think there's a lot of as a pragmatic libertarian, like of course I support Second Amendment and all that stuff too. And I think, yeah, it's there's a lot of stupid stuff that happens with it, but a lot of that is, I think, mental health issues, and that's a lot that goes with it because it's all kinds of people. Everyone in America, like I don't know what the numbers are, but it's super super high gun ownership, and you have a fraction of people that have incidents with guns. There's plenty of them, but there's a fraction compared to population. So there's all that stuff too. So yeah, there you go, KG. That's one way of putting it. Bad guys will have it. So banning guns, like the common way of like just kind of like against doing that is like, yeah. And then now only the criminals have it. Ban knives, for example. Now only the criminals have it. Now the people can't. Although I don't want to see people defending themselves in a knife. Like that would suck. Like I got to defend myself, so I have to have a knife, and then I have to I don't want to choose to stab first or whatever. That would suck. I just don't can I just remove myself from that situation. I'm just gonna remove I don't want part of this.
Yeah. Just stay away from it, man. That's what I do, and I'm fine. I've never been stabbed. I got beat up a couple of times when I was younger, but like that was it. Nothing too bad. But there is a statistic. I can't remember the exact number, but most of the guys that get stabbed and get admitted to hospital for being stabbed are the ones that had the knife in the first place. So imagine like I threaten you with a knife, but maybe I don't really intend to use it. I'm just trying to scare you, right? So like, I don't actually want to stab anyone. I'm just trying to scare you. But then we have a struggle and you get the knife off me. Now, if someone threatens me with a knife and I get that knife off him, I am definitely 100% going to stab him. 100%. Because I think he's going to do that to me, right? So I will 100% use that weapon against him. Whereas he might not have had the intention of doing it. And I think that's why it happens a lot. Is like people, they just get scared. They manage to get the knife and then they just use it in whatever way they can. Yeah, exactly. So I would argue that's probably why, because I know in my situation, if someone came at me like that, then and I got it, I would use like as much force as I could to kill the fucker before he kills me. So yeah.
I'm just going to bring this back to crypto.
I know we've just spent half an hour talking about jippos and knife crime and
not that we ever started with crypto, but yeah. Apparently chat likes it. They've been showing their support and engaging as well. But yeah, bullish crypto stream. Actually, there was a question. I'll shamelessly plug real quick. Let's see, where was it? Crypto Elite. Has Hexy bought my favorite gear coin yet? Do you know what gear coin he's talking about?
Is it that Gifford?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't own any yet. I was waiting for a dip, and someone someone told me, like, this was after it had gone up for like 9 straight days, and someone told me, yeah, it's never going to dip, bro. And I was like, we'll see about that. One of my friends had a big position. I called him up straight away. I was like, bro, you might want to sell that. He was like, why? And I just goes, just trust me, bro. Just trust me. He sold, and then within about 6 hours, it had gone down like 70%. So yeah, that was a nice little top call from me.
Amazing run up, and then for like 5 days, I won't say 5 days, 3 or 5 days went down, and then now it's kind of you know, it's been
looks like it's going up again now. I mean, I haven't really been. The thing is, dude, is like, I know there's a lot of cool stuff out there on PulseChain, but I'm just so busy like with my own stuff, I'm not really paying attention, and maybe that means I'm losing out on potential gains in places, but I just really have not got the time to like focus on everything, because there's always something really, really cool coming out every day. There's always some like world changing innovative thing, and all of these things are all just narratives, in my opinion. Everything's a meme coin. It doesn't matter if the meme coin's got some utility or not. Hex is a meme coin. Pulse has got utility because it's a blockchain native token. Same with ETH, but Bitcoin's a meme coin. Like, everything, in my opinion, is a meme, and it's not a meme in the sense that it's like it's something that has to be funny, but it's a meme in the sense that people jump on a narrative, and the narrative is what the narrative is why people buy Stab with Gun.
I was sorry, I couldn't hold it. I was like, I first read it as like, I read it as something else, and I read it again. I was like, that's even more funny than what I thought the first time. I mean,
it cracked me up when we did that stream with Miguel,
but,
and they started calling me fucking Stab Daddy.
Stab Daddy. Wow, that's man, this Stab with Gun. That's
Stab with Gun.
Anyways, sorry, go ahead with
go and make it on the 9-inch launchpad, mate. It'll take you 10 seconds.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you are busy running a platform that has a lot of really cool, innovative features. Actually, really.
Yeah, we have. We're getting coins launched on there every day as well, and that's another thing. So like, it's kind of hard for me to see outside of my own ecosystem, because there's just so many things happening here. So like, there are a few things in PulseChain that I'm invested in, but like I'm not paying attention, man. Like, seriously, we're just doing our own thing. And like, I know there's been a lot of successful meme coins on another platform, which has done quite well. I'm happy to see it, but yeah, I'm just not participating because I just simply don't have the time to do so. We've got some really funny meme coins coming out here. We're just trying to figure out a way to get rid of the cheaters. Like, try and find a way we can launch coins without them getting sniped like hell, and then just basically killing the chart after. Because like, some of these meme coins are really cool, but then if a sniper bot comes in and gets too much of the supply too early, they could just basically suppress the price forever. So we got to find a way. Like, we're working on stuff to deal with that. But I mean, it's fair. It's not really the priority right now. We've got a lot of other things that we're building. I mean, we've just launched V3 liquidity, which is really cool. We didn't think we would need it, in all honesty. That's why we haven't done it earlier. But obviously, the market's demanding it. The market really wants V3 liquidity, and I think it's as a trusted source in crypto. Well, in PulseChain at least, because people know me, people know my team. We're sort of doxed, and you know, I've been out and shook enough hands with people in real life. They know that we're not like trying to fuck anyone over or anything like that. So it's obviously a tool that people want and people need. So that's why we've moved on to V3, and then we launched the DCA tool as well, which is a really cool way. As long as there's liquidity in the pair, you can DCA in and out of stuff as sort of fluidly as you want. You can do an order every day, every month, every week, every minute, every block, whatever you want to do, really. And it will just get you a nice average price on something, rather than going, you know, say if you're a guy that's got like 100 grand and you want to invest in PulseChain, using the DCA tool will be a really great way to do it, because you're just going to get a nice, hardly any slippage, you know, the average price of what's going on the market. But really, the mission for 9-inch was to be the one-stop shop, so people can come and onboard to PulseChain without ever having to leave that site. We'll have all the tools available and adequate liquidity, and we're also going to be having one of the things we're working on is we're going to get a aggregator going on the site as well. So even if we don't have liquidity, it will just route via the aggregator, and then we'll just charge like a small fee, which will go to the buy and burn of 9-inch and BBC. And, you know, it'll all benefit the overall system in some way, but the fee will be so minimal, like no one will even realize it's there, you know. But we just want it so that 9-inch is the #1 place where you can onboard people, especially seeing as, you know, Richard's core front ends are down. They're not down, but you know what I mean, like IPFS and extra links and extra clicks. It just makes it a little bit scary for people who don't know what they're doing. But this website's just up and it works. So,
well, sir, I don't know if you've heard of gorealdefi.com. Actually, yeah. Actually, have you heard of it? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think I have actually. GoRealDeFi.com. Is it your site, right? No, I have heard of it. Yeah, I have for sure.
It's almost like it's not confusing anymore. Bam, go to Hex app. Bam, go to the bridge, and it looks like a legit thing, right? I mean, it is a legit thing. It's just like a very nice like little gateway interface over top of it, and it's all you can verify the security. Click verify hash. It'll tell you. It'll go through, run the backend script, and be like, here's the hashes. Look, they match. If they don't match, it'll say, you know, fail here instead of okay for each one. So basically it's just like an easy, I mean, I use GoPulse and I use GoRealDeFi. 2 websites I use the most out of anything. Exchange, it's got PulseX. Basically all the IPFS apps are here, and it
what does the launchpad bring up?
Validator launchpad.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I know it doesn't. If you hover over it, it says become a PulseChain validator.
Okay.
But basically, that was my contribution. Like when everything started being decentralized, I was like, oh man, this is really confusing. You go there, we used to have like 3 links. If you remember, it was like, what is this stuff? And I was like, okay, I'm a tech guy. I can figure out. I don't really build websites that often, but I can figure this out. How to make it easier for people? How to make it easier for me? Because I don't want to go there and click the different link each time. And it'll keep them. It basically there's a script running in the background. It keeps it all up to date. So every time they launch a new version, it'll like automatically update and take you to the right one. So people downloading and stuff, they have all those issues with the bridge before, like, oh, it's is this the right version? Make sure you use the right version, all that stuff. But it's like basically one-stop shop for the decentralized apps.
So I have heard of the site, but I've never actually been on it. So yeah, that's cool, man. It's cool. It's like GoPulse.com as well. Their site is absolutely amazing for all the data that they've got on there. Like I like seeing the bubbles and stuff, and the DEX comparisons, all of these kind of things. So yeah, any tools we can provide for people that are just going to make it easier are definitely valid. So yeah, thanks for doing that, because it's we need like trusted guys that are going to do this stuff, because there are some very, very bad actors out there. So it's eliminating those guys, like not giving them a space to actually run. So we got kind of the same mission. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I say about you. That's what I like about you all building too. It's like, I watched you at the PulseChain, was it PulseChain conference? Yeah, PulseChain conference.
Yeah.
I always forget, it's like Hex conference, PulseChain one. I can't remember each one. And you were talking about all the different features and one-stop shop. I'm like, man, like you really struck me as having this vision of like really building something to help people find what they need, get what they need to get done, use all these tools and stuff on PulseChain. And then what was interesting, and I clipped you saying this, I don't think it's came out on the channel yet, but I clipped it about you talking about bridging and the different tech around that and what may be coming for 9-inch and stuff too. Mm-hmm. And that was really exciting for me. I was like, man, I wonder if you guys have figured out a way to easily onboard people, don't need to care about the chain, just want to buy this coin, and having that kind of feature on 9-inch too. So
that's definitely something I want to push for the next bull run. I don't think we can get it done, because this is we have found the tech, like we know it exists and we know we can implement it at some point. But it's not, the thing is to roll that out, like with the plans that we've already got, it's not really fitting into the roadmap just yet. It's probably something we'll work on in the bear market, like once everything's done. But I would like to see 9-inch have a presence on every single chain that exists, so people can trade in and out of any meme coin or any coin with aggregators set up with everything. So you can literally say, like, I've got a BSC coin and I want to swap it for a PulseChain coin. You can just do that super easily without any blockage, just like maybe even gasless transactions and stuff. That's another thing we can look into as well. We probably can't do it for everything, but that's what I want. That's my vision, man. I want this to be the meme coin DEX. That's like, you got things like Solana right now. They got that pump.fun thing, and that's where everyone's going. That's where everyone's doing all their trading and everything like that. Like, I kind of want this to be a little bit like that. So maybe we have a pump.fun style website within our website, which links everyone to the trading pairs on our site, and you can view all the charts. You can do everything. Like, that's what I want this to be. I want this to grow and just be the number one place that anyone when you think meme coins, like as a retail guy, just like a regular pleb coming in and just trying to trade meme coins and shit, you would just think of 9-inch, and then that will be the place where everyone goes and does it. And I think with the branding we've got, and obviously the site as it is now is already really advanced in terms of being like an amazing front end, and the amount of stuff that we've got going on there. Like, we're way ahead of every other project that's doing anything like this on PulseChain, at least now. In fact, we're ahead of most protocols on most chains, in all honesty, in terms of like the amount of tools we got with the launchpad, the farms, the single-sided staking. The BBC price and the 9-inch price is doing quite well now. It's very stable, and it's actually just like starting to curve upwards, especially the BBC price, man. Like, BBC is massively underrated at the moment, undervalued, because it is basically the same as ink with less supply, and it does more stuff. You can actually do stuff with it. It is the best money printer on the website. And like right now, you can earn BitBoy's Bro token with BBC. 25% of the total supply is out for that. And people are making hella money, even if the price of Bro token is down right now. The amount of money, the amount of APR you're making on that compared to like the value of the BBC that you're putting in at the beginning, like, I'm surprised BBC hasn't pumped like a crazy, like just a crackhead, like in this run. But when I look at it,
pump like a crackhead.
Pump like a crackhead, yeah. I don't know where that came from, to be fair, but I'm looking at some of these stats now, and it's like the official TVL on the website is just under $37 million now. I remember when we started out, that was like $8 million, man. So
I remember too. Yeah,
37 million now. But then D-Bank just recently released a thing. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know the 9-inch Twitter posted it, so let me just find it on there, and I'll tell you the numbers, because D-Bank basically ranked all of the protocols on PulseChain, and it's quite interesting actually to see where everyone's at. So 1 second, not the DeFi Llama one, or maybe it was K9 that posted it. Sorry, just give me 1 sec. The screen's like hella bright, man. I'm like blind even with the sunglasses on. Here it is. Right. So it was trustlessyield.pls who posted it. Cool new feature on D-Bank where you can see an overview of protocols on PulseChain. I'll bring this up now so I can give you the up-to-date figures. So right now you have got, if it wants to load, doesn't really want to load for me. Okay, I'll just go off his figures. So you got PulseX at the top, and then so it lists the protocol, the user deposits, and then the users. So you got PulseX at the top with 285 million, let's call it, 31,500 users. You've got Liquid Loans in second place with 76.4 million with 5,400 users. You've got 9-inch at 55.7 million, because I think that's including all of the stakes, and V3 liquidity as well is probably on there. I don't even know if our front end is logging the analytics for the V3 liquidity that much. So yeah, that's all on there. 4,713 users. Then after that, you've got Earn Protocol, which I believe is the PulseX version of Liquid Loans. Is that right? Like
Power City.
Yeah. So you got that underneath with 24.8. Then you got 9mm, 22.4 mil with 2,800 users. Then you got Fox 16.3. But it's just like listed everything in like a really, really easy to see. So this is now the leaderboard I'm looking at. And what I want for us, like next step, is get more TVL, more user deposits than Liquid Loans, which we're not far away, man. Like we're really creeping up. We're only 20 mil behind them. That's really not a lot in this game. What is it, like a 20% increase, 30% increase, and then we'll be catching up to them. And then it's big boy stuff, and then we're going to start going towards PulseX. And I really want us to be. Originally, we only wanted to be like the number 2 DEX on PulseChain, but I think with all the services and the tools that we've got available, there's no reason why we can't actually overtake PulseX. I'm not saying we will do that, but we have got a better protocol right now. So maybe if Big Daddy Richard does roll out a few more updates, then he'll pull away from us massively. But right now we're slowly catching up to his TVL, and it ain't a dick measuring contest, but it kind of is. So yeah.
I remember when we were in Vegas. Do you remember this when we first met? I was wearing the PulseX shirt. And like, hey, what are you wearing there? And like, oh yeah, and then were you wearing the 9-inch or something? It was just so funny. It was like I think we were talking about 9-inch, and you were talking about something, and I was like, oh yeah, PulseX shirt. And I was like, that would be the shirt that I meet Hexy Bastard in, the PulseX shirt. His nemesis at the healthy competition of TVO. Yeah. So I really don't see them
Yeah, you're right, man. It is healthy competition. I don't see them as like, look, they're probably going to win because it's Richard behind it, right? So, like, we never really thought about even getting close to what they got. We wanted 10% of their market share, and we've now got, I think we've got like 20. So we're already like way ahead of where I wanted to be. I would just wanted 10% of the market. That was it, and we're already at like 20, I believe. In fact, if I look on Go Pulse, the liquidity section. Yeah, so in terms of liquidity, we're at 5.5%, but in terms of TVL, we're at like nearly 20%. So yeah, we're doing quite good in that regard. So
just got a question here from Doberman. Plans for 9-inch Ethereum? Will they get DCA feature in the future?
Already exists, mate. It's already on there.
Oh.
Yeah, Ethereum. You can do DCA on Ethereum. It's just Ethereum doesn't have like quite as much liquidity. So I'll give you some of the numbers for the liquidity now. Give me a sec. Where's the analytics?
There's a question here too about people want to talk about BBC on ETH more. Looks like
BBC on Pulse, not on ETH, when he intends to expand and change in the future. Counterproductive. I mean, yeah, you can say that all you want, but I've already explained the reason why I'm pushing the PulseChain side more, because the Ethereum fees, like, I don't like pushing my users to use Ethereum. We're all PulseChain guys. Like, PulseChain is better, it's cheaper, you can get more value for your trade, and I'm pushing ETH a little bit. We're shaking hands with people behind closed doors. I've got a couple of deals coming up where we are probably going to bring more volume to the ETH side. Like, there's a few things I'm working on, but right now it's like PulseChain is the low hanging fruit. Like, this is the kind of thing a guy says because he overinvested in something and then he wants other people to do the work. Why don't you go out there and you start talking about BBC on ETH? Because if you've got bags, then go pump them. Like, I'm pumping 9-inch on the whole, and I'm going for what is the easiest thing to promote, right? So if you've got bags, bro, go and promote them. I mean, I haven't even looked at the BBC on ETH chart for a while, but I can't imagine it's that bad. So I can even have a look in a minute. But interestingly, on here, on the Ethereum side, it's showing that we've got, oh, hang on a minute, I'm on the wrong network. Bear with me. Let me just switch because it's not giving me the accurate numbers.
Were you on Solana again?
And I've never used Solana, mate. I've never used it, not once.
I haven't either. I don't think so.
Is this updated now? A minute. Sorry, mate. It's just my computer's really slow. I think I need a new computer, man, because this shit's just dreadful. So now it doesn't want to load the page. So while that comes up, yeah, I'll get to these questions in a minute. I'll go through some of the Ethereum stats because I haven't actually looked at them for a little while. Like I say, I'm just focusing more on PulseChain because this is where I'm trying to onboard people to PulseChain, man. Like, I'm out there trying to make the chain better and do what I can to, like, we haven't got, like, our leader is MIA at the moment. Like, Richard is not here. So it's up to guys like me and you and Matty Allen and Crypto Coffee and B Roots and fucking Too Spooky and whoever else. Like, we've got to be the leaders and we've got to be pushing the chain out. And without guys like us doing this, then what would you rather me sit and talk about Ethereum all day? Like, I don't think we're gonna really get anywhere with that, man.
I like PulseChain.
Seriously,
I
love PulseChain. I think it's great. So I'm very much interested in PulseChain. So yeah, is that another question now? I can't really read it.
It is Hexy. With all the data you have now, what is your PulseChain and PulseX price predictions?
It's hard to say, man, because the thing is, originally, I was thinking that they both do roughly a 20x from wherever the bottom was. Like, that was my prediction originally because the weight of the sack and everything like that. But I never anticipated that the entity that owns that money, shall we say, was going to start pumping money in. I never seen that coming. That was a complete curveball. So maybe it could go a lot higher. I mean, I'd still be happy with a 20x, honestly. I don't think we're getting no 10,000x, guys. You might as well get that idea out of your head completely. That's not going to happen, not this run. Maybe if you hold it for 2 cycles, you might get that. It's possible. I reckon anything sort of up to 100x, but anything over sort of like... you're going to have to read the market. You're going to have to look at the sentiment in the market at the time. I mean, it could do a massive blow off top and it could go way above 100x. It could even go to like 1,000x. I'm trying to be conservative because I know the sort of bag sizes I'm dealing with, and I'm not even a massive player in this space, right? So if that does 100x, then you are literally talking stupid fuck you money. for a lot of people. Like I'm very low in the ecosystem in terms of like there's a lot of whales ahead of me, and if it did 100x from here, I would be in complete fuck you money territory. So yeah, you just got to think about that. Like I made this mistake with Hex the first time around, and this is something I'll never forget, because I came into Hex when it was already at like 4 or 5 cents. And I genuinely thought it would just carry on forever and it just keep going up and up and up. But what you fail to recognize is the guys that have got way bigger bags than you, that have got here way earlier than you, and the kind of money they're sitting on. So in order for you to become a millionaire with your few $1,000s at whatever price you're in now, that means that you're going to be making people almost billionaires, right? On imaginary internet money. So you got to think about like who's ahead of you in the game and then plan accordingly. So if the price was to go up 100x from here, there's going to be loads and loads and loads of people that have got well over $100 million in Pulse, providing that they didn't sell, right? Or PulseX, providing they didn't sell, well over $100 million. I mean, how much money is enough for people? I mean, when I think about myself, my target in crypto was to make $2 million. That was all I wanted at one point. It was just like, that would be a number that I could live off for like the rest of my life, pretty much. I could retire with that. I could go buy a nice little house. Don't want anything too flashy. I'm not bothered about sports cars. I'm not bothered about like, you know, jetting off around the world all over the place, doing all this stuff. Like, I just want like a nice modest life. $2 million would be more than enough to do that. What's your number? Like, what's, you know, do you have a number, RHMax?
I think I have a series of numbers. However, how do you know I haven't already hit some?
You probably did. But, you know, when you first got into crypto, you must have had like a number in mind where you're like, yeah, if I hit this number, I'll just sell everything. I'm not bothered anymore. Like, not necessarily sell everything, but...
Yeah, at a certain point. I mean, obviously, I think everyone's number's in the millions of some sort. It could be higher, it could be lower. I did a poll the other day, actually. I asked, what is the number that you need to exit, retire, like whatever it was? And I wish I can't, if I could find it quickly, I'd pull it up. But it was something like most people were within the range of like 2 million, somewhere around there. And I think a lot of people were in the 5 million and 10 million range. But I feel like most people were in like the 2 to 5 million range. It's like they would just, you know, whatever, retire, let's say. So yeah, I think what you said is pretty much in the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a reasonable number, you know, like anything up to sort of like 5 mil, something like that would be like a reasonable number to go at, because then, you know, that's enough money to go and buy a house outright, buy a nice car, get yourself set up, you know, maybe put it in some stonks or something like that, so you got like a little bit of residual income, maybe start a business, whatever. Like, most people aren't that greedy, but the problem is that when the money starts going up, people do get greedy. I know a lot of guys that were multi-millionaires on Hex that didn't sell enough when it got towards the top. You know, it already outperformed any of their wildest dreams, but they still didn't sell enough because they got greedy.
That's a good question too, just on that. What is the difference between greed and delayed gratification? Like, is there a balance there?
Probably there is. I mean, if you use Hex in the way that it's supposed to be used, as in you just scale out like a staking ladder, and then you just, you know, almost forget it's there. It's like putting it in a bond or something, right? So if you do it that way, I don't feel like that's greedy at all, because you are like, delayed gratification, it is actually a very good behavior. It's great that people can do that. I mean, we have that to some degree on 9inch, because you can lock up your 9inch and your BBC for an entire year if you want to, and it's not 15 years, but you know, you can do that. And I've got a lot of guys that that messaged me saying, I'm so glad that you did that feature, because when we had the price crash, they said they would have sold. They would have sold around then, and now the price is pumping again. They're really happy because they've also got the yield on top of it. So they've been paid basically to hold. So I think the delayed gratification side is really, really good, and you should try and, you know, put your stakes in a position where you think that the 4-year cycle is going to be at certain times and whatever, like, or do a yearly ladder, whatever you want to do, like, but because that's the thing that attracted me to Hex in the first place, is that I can just send my money to the future, and you know, hopefully it's worth more, but if it isn't, so be it, whatever, you know, even just the price being the same plus the yield of, you know, 30-40% every year is pretty good. So I'd be pretty happy with that without the price movement, in all honesty. But you do get those. I mean, no one anticipated Hex would go down as far as it did, even with the PulseChain fork, and no one predicted that. Like, so I mean, it literally went down more than Celsius and Luna.
No one who doesn't own an island right now.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And that's the thing. Like I say, I know a lot of guys that had a lot of Hex, and they maybe there are people that it was just all staked, so they couldn't do anything about it, which is sucks to be them. But I know guys that did have liquid, like stakes had ended, and they didn't sell. If anything, they were still buying, even though the price has gone up like over 1,000x for them. They're still not selling, and I'm kind of like, but what's the number, man? What's the number? Like, when are you happy? You know, they've got multiple millions of dollars. Why don't you just sell half of it, or just get yourself 1 or 2 million out clean, you know, just so you got it, right? And then you don't have to think about selling again for a long time because you've got enough. But this was it. People just got greedy with it, man. And that's the mistake I don't want to make this time around. That's why my price predictions for Hex and PulseChain and PulseX they're quite high, but I'm going to be DCAing out a little earlier than most people might, because I don't want to get left holding a bag after it's done its moonshot. I'm never going to sell everything, but I will be gently selling all the way up and just getting myself a nice DCA price out. Because even if I only capture half the gains of the market, because my bag size is fairly decent, I don't really need the full 100x or 150 or whatever it ends up potentially doing. So my price prediction, probably I would be aiming around 50x. I think if it hits 50x from the bottom, that's a very good time to think about taking some off. You know, I mean, even less than that, 20x is probably a good time to do it. I really don't know. It depends what happens with like the court case. It depends if Richard starts streaming again. It depends if any of that money from the SAC wallet ends up getting deployed, like the ETH price maybe dragging it up, whatever. There's a lot of variables here, so it's like really too early to say. All I know is that people who are selling now are fucking retards. So yeah.
I would like to see our number one marketing guy back on stream. Doing promoting it. You know, I know Twitter is one thing, but man, his streams were so powerful, and you don't really. Back then, it was kind of like, you know, kind of took him for granted, but man, now it's like how powerful. Okay, let's two things before we wrap up real quick. One thing, predict the number of users next time he live streams. If we get another one again. The king is back live stream. How many viewers do you think hit simultaneously?
So how many did he used to get, like in his heyday? How many people?
I think low thousands, if I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember him doing it once where there was like 12,000. I think. Okay.
I don't remember that.
I might be wrong.
I can believe it, but
I might be wrong. I mean, it could have been like 5,000. I do remember seeing a few where he was streaming to like 5,000 or 6,000, something like that. So let's say it's around that number. There's a few things to bear in mind here. His YouTube algorithm is going to be destroyed, so he is not going to be getting put out there that much. Not like he used to, because like I literally found Hex through Richard Hart streaming on YouTube talking about Bitcoin. So. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get the same organic, YouTube-based viewers. However, if that guy starts streaming again, the community is massive now. I reckon we've got at least sort of, it's hard to say an exact number, but I'd say we've got at least like 40, 50,000 real individual users on PulseChain, maybe more. It could be 100. I mean, some people argue 100. I'm not sure if it's quite that many, but yeah, maybe it's like 40,000, something like that. I reckon almost every single person that's awake during that moment will watch. So it could be a very high number. Almost everyone who's involved with anything. And then because of that, more people will come and watch it as well. So it really could be like the most viewers he's ever had on stream.
I think I would say 15 or 20K. I feel like it's got to be somewhere through there.
Yeah, I reckon so. 15, 20K. Yeah, that's a good, reasonable guess. Because there's going to be so many people wanting the news, like whatever. I mean, even just seeing what he looks like these days, like no one's seen a photo of him or anything for ages, right?
So like breathe, checking his teeth. What does his hair look like? All these. Does he have muscles now? Bigger muscles.
Yeah, has he lost weight? Has he gained weight? Like I don't know. Like I mean, I'd like to think he's taken this time to work on himself a bit and
most of the people here are just not. Richard's going to get 100K streaming because Fast has 80K alt accounts. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, he will. I reckon when he comes back, he will get this massive burst. I just hope that when he does come back, he's got some good stuff to say, because if he comes back and starts giving us like, you know how in the heyday of Hex, how he was promoting it, the way that he was doing it and the language he was using, he's the best salesman in the world, mate. Like, he sold it so hard to so many people. Like, I know guys that went all in just after watching one stream of his, just one stream, and they just went all in. And I wasn't quite as quick to the mark as that, but like maybe I watched 2 or 3 of his streams, and then I was like, yeah, I'm getting this now. Like, I maybe bought a little bit, but then after like 2 or 3 streams, I was like just 100% all in. So
yeah, I started following in 2017. So I remember watching his playlist for all the the self-help, the how to stop playing poker, all the how to give a good apology, like all that stuff. And I'm like, man, this guy's super smart. And then I was like, oh, he's a Bitcoin maxi guy. Okay, I just came into crypto, so for me, Richard was my passive mentor on learning crypto. That's how I learned crypto, was through him for the most part. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a coin, CFT token. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do this other coin called Hex, or Bitcoin Hex, and then Hex.win and all that stuff from there. So like I started like even like his ideals, right? Like I say, I'm a maxi for his ideals, and his products are obviously awesome. Like I started with that, and that was really powerful to me. I was like, man, he just seems like a good person to follow. He seems like a leader that, I agree with a lot of stuff he wants to do in the world. Like, why not hang out and, get rich in the process, that sort of thing. I imagine a lot of people kind of subscribe to that too. Anyway,
I certainly did, man. Like, I think his overall message is really, really good. I just think, I mean, I've definitely not got anything bad to say about the guy. I just wish he was here still, like carrying the torch, man. I mean, it's good that there are guys that have stepped up and became community leaders within their own right and stuff, which is fantastic. I'm happy that this is happening, but none of us are ever going to have the same weight as Richard coming back and talking, because he's got all the Bitcoin maxi guys from way back when. Like, a lot of them respect him still, even if they don't necessarily like that he did his own coin or whatever. They probably still have a lot of respect for him. So I don't know, man. Like, I'd be very, very bullish if he came back, especially if it was like fairly consistent, like not just like one stream and then we don't hear from him again for like months. If he came back and started streaming like relatively regularly, started appearing on, I don't know, BitBoy's show, Rand's show, whatever, just as a panelist and as an expert in the space. And I think that would be incredibly bullish. And I think at first it'll be a sell the news event. I'm not gonna lie, probably will have a dip on the chart. Like, there'll be a pump and then there'll be a dip, right? But then if it's fairly consistent, then the pumps will come. And if he comes back streaming, that price prediction I gave earlier, that could get completely blown out of the water, man. Like, it could go way higher. It could, I dare say, it could even do the 10,000x from the very bottom. But I don't think it went down enough. Like, Pulse did have a big dip below the sack rate, but it didn't go down enough, in my opinion, for it to do a 10,000x, because then you are talking like
PulseX, maybe it went down the hardest.
Maybe. I mean, Ink could do crazy numbers. Ink could do absolutely insane numbers, which gets me like rubbing my hands together, because I'm just like, oh man, if Ink does it, then BBC is gonna fly. I'm very bullish on all of it. I think I'm most bullish on Pulse, because that is the new shiny object, right? PulseX is like slightly less, relevant to the newer people. They're not really care so much.
If those new features start popping out, that's the thing. Maybe they're timed. Right now it's a very, very basic DEX, right? But it has a lot of liquidity. But just back in my head, I'm like, man, I think if there is a master plan behind this stuff, it seems like they would have some new features rolling out that would make it more attractive. And I
was literally just talking to someone just before I came on the stream with you to another PulseChain influencer person. And I was saying, I think that these features that he's got, I think they're all ready. Like, everything's ready to go. He maybe just refines one or two of them, or changes something here or there. I think he's waiting for the right moment to roll them out. And I think probably many of the features that we've got on 9inch are the ones that he's planning on rolling out. So like maybe single-sided staking for the incentive token. That's something that he could probably do.
What else would the devs be working on? Like, what else are they doing right now? Like, why wouldn't they be polishing the crap out of testnet, their own testnet features of PulseX?
Yeah.
That's the only reasonable thing I can think of. Like, what else they've been working on? That's sort of, as far as major stuff.
The thing is, as well, his devs, he's got like apparently 14 odd devs or something like that. Like, we've got for 9inch, I think we've got 4. We've got like 1 lead dev, and then we've got 3 guys that we kind of like use for various things. Even just with those guys, who, you know, I'm sure Richard has interviewed and hired the best people he can possibly find in the world. And I'm not saying anything bad about my devs. My devs are fucking awesome. But, you know, the guys that Richard's got are really going to be like top tier, best of the best of the best. So the kind of updates they could do in the sort of time frame, like they'd be able to do things way quicker. Yeah, but you know, no one's perfect. There's been fuck ups. Like for me, I would like to see him fix the V1 V2 version of PulseX.
What do you mean?
I think
that's earn and burn. What are you talking about? That was all meant to be.
Yeah, right. Come on, bro.
I love the story. Like he's like the ultimate salesman too. He's like, oh, it's just a feature now. And I'm like, okay, I guess, yeah, that's a thing.
My favorite line from PulseChain right now is the fact that we haven't got a good block explorer as a feature, not a bug, for like tax purposes. That shit cracks me up. But we do have a good block explorer on scan.9inch.io. That's the best one out there at the minute. So.
Yeah, man, don't talk to me about block explorers right now. Anyways, Hexy bastard, everyone. Where can people? You got your link right there, but where can people find you on social media?
Just at Hexy Bastard on Twitter and everywhere, really. I've even got a TikTok now. I'm putting a few videos out on that.
TikTok, nice.
Yeah, and I'm getting down with the kids, man. Like, yeah.
You gotta start saying like a lot, and you gotta start saying based, maybe based. I don't know. Is that what the kids do these days? And you gotta start making like 10-second clips on how to drink weird. No, I'm not gonna go down that road. Anyways, good to see you, man. They do a lot of crazy stuff on TikTok. Every news article was like, the kids did this new crazy thing that you shouldn't do. Don't do the orange challenge or whatever challenge they got. Good to see you, man. Always a good talk. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. 5 times if you count the one us in the studio with DCC and Charlie guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I need to get you on mine at some point because I'm going to start doing the quiz nights again and stuff like that. So it'd be good to get you on one of that. Have you ever been on my channel? I don't know if you have.
I don't think so.
No. When I start doing the hangouts again, you'll definitely have to come through, man. 100%.
Let me know, man. Let me know. It's fun. Good to chat with you, laugh with you, and talk about all the stuff we talked about. Good stream, man.
Jippo for life, man. But yeah,
I learned some new words. I know what caravans are now. Like I think of caravan.
It's a learning experience, mate.
A bunch of cars in a row, like tied like together, but like caravans it means differently in British English as well. The real English is what people say. Anyways, everyone, that's all we got for you today. I'll be on the Corey show in about 20 minutes, and so I'm gonna grab a bite and have a good night. Well, I guess have a good night. It sounds like if you're going out this weekend, Hexy B, have a good time with everyone out there, and say hi to the UK Hexicans.
We'll do, man. We'll do. Peace. All right, thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Scivive and 5555. We are out.